Belief is very, very important indeed. So good to hear John Eustace talking about that. It's a very open championship table. Reminder at Ashton Gate for us, Nigel Adderley, who's alongside the former Arsenal midfielder Adrian Clark. Adrian, though, I did use the word uninspiring about last week's performance. They're outperforming their XG, expected goals, by almost 9 goals so far this season, only behind Hull in that metric. Their XG, though, is the 6th lowest in the entire championship. Only Sheffield Wednesday have taken fewer shots, as you mentioned. Now, as a wise man once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So they do need to improve in that regard as well. But after a while, you start to think about John Eustace as a manager and what he thinks is important in terms of getting results. And you wonder whether he is going to be the manager that has that extra 10 or 15% in terms of creating teams with that quality in the final third. Should we be looking at the manager more to solve those issues on the training ground?
Yeah, I guess so. Look, we know John Eustace is a good organiser of teams. He's very strong defensively, and his record speaks for itself. He's he's a solid championship manager. Now, you also need more resources, and I don't know. He hasn't got a whole bunch of quality forward players to call upon. Could they go and play a more expansive brand of football? Yes. Would that earn them more points or less? Well, clearly he feels it would earn them less. That he wants to build from the back first. And do you know what? I don't think too many Derby fans are expecting promotion this season. So I can give him a pass this year to sort of establish them as a solid championship club, to then maybe go one step further next time around. He does not have a reputation of producing that much fluid attacking football. He's not goal fest very often with John Eustace, but he obviously feels that his squad aren't quite good enough to play that way at the moment, and you've got to respect that.
Nigel, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that he's one of a number of managers in the Championship having to cut his cloth accordingly, and we've spoken about the financial outlay that's available to him and the number of other clubs like Bristol City, and he is one of those managers, I think, that will try and get results by being slightly cautious, and I think that's why they've had so many good results away from home. 5 of the last 6 victories have come on the road, and while I think it's possibly a frustration for the season ticket holders at Pride Park, and we were both there for the FA Cup tie recently against Leeds, and I know it was a different sort of game, but you couldn't really discern a style of play. Derby did not play well that day. I mean, they were in the game until the final few moments, but it wasn't a particularly good performance. But I think that he's got injuries. Carlton Morris will be back soon. He'll give them a focal point in attack. He has managed to prune the squad the last couple of days. Corey Blackett-Taylor and Caden Jackson have both been moved on to clubs in League One. So I think he'll be looking to do business, incoming business, by Monday. But at the same time, it is difficult. I mean, Derby, almost ceased to exist only a few years ago, and while they do have a different owner now in David Close, I think that they're still, in many ways, if not riding the punch of that, maybe just bearing those scars.
Patience is required, for me at least. Ben Brereton Diaz is a player I wanted to ask you about, Adrian, because he's been talking this week about kind of falling back in love with football at Derby County. He's had an extended run of game time, which he hasn't had at his last few clubs, really, when you think about it. John Eustace has also spoken about Ben Brereton Diaz, saying that people need to be patient with him, given his lack of a pre-season. Part of me was kind of scratching my head around that one, because it's his 26th appearance of the campaign tonight. And does that excuse still carry any weight at this stage of the season?
It definitely helps a player to build that base fitness in pre-season. But you can't use it as an excuse probably come the turn of the year. He's had 23 starts, he's scored twice, he's had 2 assists. But what I would say about Ben Brereton Diaz, he is more than just goals. He is a good footballer. He makes things happen. He's got good energy. I like the way that he holds the ball up and switches play. And I'm looking at the positions that he's played in this season. He's played up front. He's played on the right wing, on the left wing. He's played in the middle as a 10. He's played, the deeper role. He's had a number of sub appearances. His versatility is also a hindrance, really, if you're trying to judge him on goals alone. So yeah, look, I like him. I think he's a good player to have around the place, and I think Derby County fans can look forward for more to come from Brereton Diaz.
Well, yeah, we need a little bit more, I think, because he is a lovely player, as you mentioned. He's created a number of chances, but the thing is, he has had good chances to score, and a player of his quality you might expect to be scoring more regularly. I just wondered whether you feel that is actually down to anything tactical in terms of what he's being asked to do, why he doesn't maybe score as much as we've seen him in the past.
Yeah, well, he's playing wide, and I think when he was at his very best at Blackburn, he was a little bit more central. He's always been a player that can, occupy the wide areas. Look, his finishing hasn't been great. He's had 37 shots and scored 2. His conversion rate is 5.4%. That's pretty dreadful. But, is he taking on difficult shots compared to some of the other players? I don't quite know. But look, all I know is that he's a good level championship player, and hopefully he'll come good for the Rams, maybe tonight. Bristol
City will want to carry the game to Derby County, possibly the onus on them being at home. We know Derby have been fairly solid away from home. Who do you see the threats as in that Robins team, and do you think they will be the ones on the front foot from the off?
Well, yeah, they probably will be. Yeah, they average more possession than Derby. Derby have the second lowest possession in the Championship. So I think Bristol City will have be up to them to take the game to Derby. Scott Twine is obviously a big player for them. So if Derby defend too deep, they must close down Scott Twine, because anywhere inside 30 yards, he can stick one in the top corner. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, Emil Rees is a sort of bulldozer centre forward that's a handful as well. Look, they've got threats from the wing back areas as well. Bristol City, a lot of chances come through those guys like McCrory. So we'll see. I expect Bristol City to make the running, but Derby will be dangerous when they get in and around the final third, particularly when they put balls into the box. Patrick Agyemang is very strong in the air, and Derby as a team are terrific from set pieces. So look out for that this evening.
I will be keeping a close eye. Remember, life after Marty Fuentes starts for Leicester City tomorrow lunchtime here on Talksport 2 as they host Charlton. That's before the leaders Coventry City go for a vital win at Queen's Park Rangers from 3 p.m. But we begin the EFL weekend at Ashton Gate with two clubs looking to turn promotion dreams into reality the hard way. It's Bristol City versus Derby County, exclusively live on your home of the EFL Talksport 2 with your commentary team, former Arsenal midfielder Adrian Clark and Talksport's Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Hugh. Good evening once again. And it does seem, despite all of the travel problems, most of the expected crowd here tonight at Ashton Gate have managed to get into the stadium. There are a number of empty red seats at the moment, but the Derby fans, who of course had further to travel, have done extremely well to arrive in such good numbers in the Atio stand away to our left-hand side. And this, of course, is a really big game at the top of the Sky Bet Championship. Two clubs of considerable stature, but they both spent a long time now away from the top flight indeed. Bristol City's last appearance in the old First Division predates the Premier League by generations, but a winner here tonight will head back into the playoffs. There is a long way to go, but momentum is always key at any stage of a championship season. And it's Derby County, wearing all grey with orange trim, who will get the game underway, attacking the south stand away to our right-hand side in the first half. Bristol City in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. And Adrian Clark, I think it's one of those games where the crowd will get bigger and bigger the longer it goes on.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of people that live on the other side of Bristol that will have found it very, very difficult to get here on time. It's been pretty much gridlocked for the last 2 or 3 hours, the city centre, and it's a shame that so many empty seats at the moment, but it will fill up, and I think we're in for a good game here, because opportunity knocks for both teams. Can they push on and cement themselves in and around that playoff picture?
Bristol City 7th in the table, Derby down in 11th, but it's incredibly congested. 6 clubs covered by only 2 points, so a win for Derby tonight and they would be inside the top 6 for the first time this season. They get the game underway, and it's a perfect start to the football weekend on the Talksport network, on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. A really big game at Ashton Gate, and after all of the rain earlier on as well, it is dry and clear now as Derby try and come forward with their captain Lewis Travis. Wide to the far side, and it's clipped down the line by Elder, but straight out of play via a deflection, and it will be a throw-in for Derby County down their left. And looking around the stadium, clearly those Bristol City fans who maybe left it too late, and that's understandable on a Friday evening. They're still trying to get into the stadium, but the Derby fans have travelled in numbers, and many of them seem to have got in on time, which is good to see.
Great turnout. Yeah, absolutely fantastic turnout from Derby County. And look, I don't think they're too disappointed with the season so far. I think they're relatively happy with it, particularly the away form. They'd like to have seen more victories at Pride Park, of course they would, but I think they're seeing signs of progress, and that's all you can ask.
Well, of course, they survived by a single point last season following the arrival of John Eustace in February. Bristol City losing in the playoffs to Sheffield United, and that was a rare appearance for them in the post-season. It's their 11th successive season at this level, but they've often found themselves either in the bottom half or falling away after a good opening to the season, as Dion Sanderson nods it all the way back to 37-year-old Richard O'Donnell, making only his second appearance in the Championship since 2017.
Wow. Yeah. The adrenaline will be, he might be an old stager in footballing terms, but the adrenaline will be, coursing through his veins at the minute. This is what you're a professional footballer for. You want to be involved in big games.
Here is Brewster coming forward now for Derby. Infield towards Clark in a central area, 25 yards out into Adjaman, back towards Brewster. Right foot shot though is blocked on the edge of the penalty area, and Bristol City will try and bring it clear on this near side with Scott Twine, who has very much been the heartbeat of this team with 8 goals and 7 assists this season, and particularly now that Anas Mehmeti has moved on to Ipswich. 35% of their goals were either scored or made by Mehmeti.
Yeah, talk about a big miss. Yeah, the supporters are absolutely gutted that he's gone, and it wasn't just the goals and assists with Mehmeti. He makes things happen with his dribbles. He's a fantastic ball carrier. So look, his presence will be missed, that's for sure. But it does give Scott Twine a real opportunity to be the main man here at Ashton Gate, and he strikes me as the kind of lad that might thrive with that extra responsibility.
3 minutes played. I'll give you the two teams again in a second as Bristol City try and build from the back with Rob Dickey, who has another central defensive partner alongside him this evening. Rob Atkinson is injured. Mark Sykes coming back into the team. Now it's forward towards Rees, looking to hold off a challenge of Ozone. He's played the ball in field, and Bell tries to deliver the cross into the penalty area. Clark sliding in, and it's gone behind for the first corner of the evening to Bristol City.
Yeah, it's a really good supporting run there from Sam Bell, local boy, and good hold-up play from Emil Rees. We've seen it at both ends already here. He held it up nicely, just fed it inside for Bell, who couldn't get the shot away, but he did win a corner.
Dickey and Tanner among those who are forward, along with Ross McCrory, who has a very good goal-scoring record this season, but it's nodded towards goal by Dickey, and his shirt was being pulled as he headed that ball towards goal, but it loops over the top.
Yeah, it was a difficult one for him to keep that header down and to get it on target. He's a big unit, isn't he, Rob Dickey? Very, very powerful in the air. But on that occasion, it was a 50-50 fight ball, so he couldn't control that header. Talking about hold-up play, we saw it from Adjaman, didn't we? We didn't get a chance to discuss it. Bobby Clark feeds a pass into him. It's a lovely little set for Rian Brewster, who came in from the left-hand side. His shot was blocked, but that was a nice piece of interplay from Derby County, and they want more of that.
Nearly 5 minutes played. 0-0 here on Talksport 2 at Ashton Gate. The Bristol City team, Vitek in goal, Tanner, Dickey and Pring the back three, Sykes, Randall, Knight and McCrory across midfield, with Bell and Twine supporting Rees in attack, as Adjaman is on the chase here, but the flag's up for offside for Derby. The Derby team, O'Donnell in goal, Ward, Sanderson, Clark and Elder the back four, Ozo and Travis holding in midfield, Brereton, Diaz, Clark and Brewster behind Adjaman. And Bell coming forward now for Bristol City, but the ball wide to this near side. It's behind McCrory, And it will go out of play, and it will be a throw-in on this near side for Derby County. And the long-haired Ben Brereton Diaz will leave it for Joe Ward, the former Peterborough player. And it's back to Dion Sanderson, Tessa's nephew, back in the side tonight. Both central defenders dropping out from the previous game, the 1-1 draw against West Brom. Matt Clark also coming back into the team as well.
Yeah, that's a bold move, isn't it? For any manager to change the two centre-halves. It's not as if Derby haven't been relatively solid, particularly away from home. But look, they're two very experienced players, aren't they, Matt Clark? Well, Matt Clark was suspended, wasn't he? So, so he would ordinarily have played anyway. But Sanderson, he's had a difficult few years. He's in the sort of rebuilding phase, I'd say, of his career at the moment. But he's got the nod tonight, and it'll be a test for him up against Emil Rees, who is a physical player.
He's made a permanent move now from Birmingham City, having arrived on loan. Of course, he rather lost out when Birmingham increased their playing budget significantly when the Americans arrived. Now Bell for Bristol City. Works it wide to the far side. And Tanner. Tanner's got support from Dickey in field. Nearly 7 minutes played here. The crowd at Ashton Gate is growing all the time, particularly among the home supporters, but it's not a crowd indicative of the importance of the game, because there are a number of empty seats, and that it's not because the fans are staying away, it's because the fans in many cases couldn't get here. Now it's cleared downfield by Vitek for Bristol City, defending the goal away to our right. Nodded forward by McCrory, but straight out of play, and it will be a throw. And it was a 1-1 draw at Pride Park back in August. Carlton Morris, who is currently on his way back from injury, scored late on to equalise a goal from Scott Twine. But Bristol City have tended to do well in recent years against Derby County. They've not won here since April of 2019, when Frank Lampard was the manager.
Yeah, that's going back a bit, isn't it?
And Antoine Semenyo was a young player for Bristol City. He was sent off that day, of course. He's headed up the ladder since then, as a cross into the penalty area for Bristol City on this near side is cleared. It was aimed towards Bell, but Emil Rees, the player who had pulled wide, ideally they'd have wanted Rees on the end of that.
They would, yeah. Tell you what, but Bell has started the game brightly. He's full of running. They've picked him out between the lines on a couple of occasions, Bristol City. I think they've settled the better of the two teams, for sure. They're popping the ball around quite nicely, the Robins. Derby, he had to get too many touches of the ball. And Brereton Diaz has it now.
And there is applause here to recognise the Ashton Gate 8, and they were the 8 players for Bristol City who agreed to tear up their contracts when the club was on the verge of going out of business back in the early 1980s, and they are recognised here at this stage of games because Bristol City fell from the top flight, heading towards the 4th. The club was on the brink of going out of business, but those 8 players chose to basically walk away.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it? I was unaware of that, I've got to be honest. I've been here many times. I haven't done it before. It must be something that they're doing this season, or I don't know if it's an anniversary, is it, at the moment?
Well, it is the anniversary, yeah.
Oh, that'll be what it is then, yeah. But no, it's great that the fans and the club remember, because sort of selfless acts like that, you know, are needed sometimes.
If you speak to our colleague Jonathan Pearce, whenever you come across him in the press box, he will always talk about them at length. Now Clark clears the ball away as the rain sweeps down here once again. We've had squally showers for the last hour or so around the south of Bristol, and we can see the Clifton Suspension Bridge twinkling away to our left-hand side. We always get a great panoramic view of the south of this city from where we're sat here at the top of the Lansdowne stand at Ashton Gate.
Yeah, it's a vast stand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely
It's a Premier League stadium.
It's a fantastic ground, and yeah, I remember playing here back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was smaller than it is now. You know, they are ready for the Premier League in terms of size, but they just haven't quite got the squad, I don't think, this year to do it.
Now Bell breaking over the halfway line. He's got a run from Twine ahead of him, but he collides with Ozo, and Ozo blocked his run there, and Tom Neal, the referee, will show him a yellow card.
Wow. he had to, once he gave the foul, the referee, he had to give him a card, Ozo. Now for me, it's a bit of a coming together. It's Bell who gets there. He slips him in. I mean, technically, he might be the last man there, David Ozo. He sort of blocks him off.
I think he was.
He was the last man.
I think the referee told Neil he came from some way behind the play, and he may have thought that Sanderson was coming around on the cover, but I'm not sure that Sanderson would have got there.
I think if it was a cleaner foul, you know, rather than sort of more that coming together, he might have reached for the red there. Yeah, once he just, because for me it wasn't definitely a free kick. Once he gave it, he had to card him, and this is in Scott Twine territory. It's a long way out. This has got to be 30 yards, hasn't it? But
well, Twine is capable, and he is the only contender to take this free kick for Bristol City here. And Richard O'Donnell has been organising a very tall, very long Derby County wall, and Twine will curl this right-footed. It clips off the top of that wall. It will spin away to the far side, and the corner kick is avoided by Callum Ender, but Bristol City will have a throw underneath the big screen on the far side.
Yeah, great observation about the wall. It was really tall, wasn't it? And I think that's an underrated tactic, maybe not used by enough managers. I think they'll concentrate on walls when they come up against a player like Scott Twine, who has a reputation for scoring them, and clearly he wanted the big fellas in that wall, and the wall did its job.
Clark just run off the ball for Derby on the far side, but they will have a throw-in. 12 minutes played here on Talksport 2 at a very wet Ashton Gate now, and it's still Bristol City 0, Derby County 0, and we have Leicester against Charlton coming up tomorrow lunchtime. Of course, Leicester under the interim managership of Andy King, as Derby come forward here. Ward with a lung-busting run down the right, but his cross in towards that near post is blocked, but he recovers it back towards Ozo, who's got a long time in this game to manage the yellow card. And now Brereton Diaz, good ball in towards Travis, and pulled back towards Clark inside the penalty area. He tried for one more pass when maybe he could have shot, and it was cleared, but now Clark will win it back for Derby again. The cross in from Elder, looking for Brewster. Excellent volley from Rhian Brewster, and a fine goal for Derby County. And Rhian Brewster with some perceptive movement inside the penalty area, and Bristol City couldn't get anywhere near him, and he had time to guide the volley low beyond Radak Vitek. And our Derby County heading into the playoff places for the first time this season. Bristol City 0, Derby County 1.
Oh, it's a brilliant volley from Rhian Brewster, but the cross is outstanding as well from Callum Elder. He's been a good supply line all season long for Derby County. He's wrapped his left foot around that. He's whipped it into the box. And Brewster has joined in as a second centre forward. He's the winger, remember. He's come in field in between the centre halves and guided it. He's watched it onto his foot, right-footed, guides it into the corner. It is top quality in terms of technique from Rhian Brewster. And we have ourselves a game, don't we now?
Callum Elder with his 5th assist of the season, and Rhian Brewster with only his 3rd goal. But he looks the sort of player that if he gets an injury-free run, he could do some real damage in the Championship.
Yeah, we've seen it before, haven't we? He was a younger player before he picked up all these injuries.
On loan at Swansea.
Yeah, he was superb then, absolutely magnificent. But he's been plagued, hasn't he? He's probably been out of teams more than he's been in them as a pro. But there's a player in there, there's no doubt about that, and he showed it there. He's not playing as a striker, he sort of plays a left-sided forward, but he got himself into the box there and finished with aplomb. But it was the kind of cross that was just begging to be scored from.
And it was great movement, but Bristol City stood and watched it.
Well, yeah. Look, for every goal, you could admire the quality of the forward play, but you can almost always pick it apart from a defensive point of view. Where was the pressure on Callum Elder, and obviously where was the marking inside the box? Obviously they've had to make changes at the back there tonight, and maybe that hasn't helped them, Bristol City there, because they got 3 centre halves there.
But of course, they're without Zach Viner amid transfer speculation. Rob Atkinson is also starting a spell on the sidelines due to injury, and now it's been given away. Here is Adjumang back infield towards Travis. Brewster with another shot, it's blocked and now cleared as far as Clark. Clark plays it wide. Brereton Diaz with a shot, a second goal for Derby. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Ben Brereton Diaz rolling the shot beyond an unsighted goalkeeper, and Derby County have taken a vice-like grip on this game. First Brewster and then Brereton Diaz. Bristol City 0, Derby County 2.
Wow, they may have been stuck in traffic on the way to the game, but they've got straight into top gear here at Ashton Gate. That is a lightning fast start from the Rams. It's a goal that Bristol City have gifted to Derby. They were trying out from the back, they lose it inside their own defensive third, and Derby are on them like a rash, and they move it from left to right. It ends up, there's a number of players that could have a shot. It comes to Ben Brereton Diaz. He's really calm. He just passes it into that far corner. It might have taken a slight deflection on its way into the far corner, but it was a really cool finish from Brereton Diaz. Now that's Brewster and Brereton Diaz, 2 players that have not scored very many goals this season, delivering for Derby County tonight.
Only a 4th of the season for Ben Brereton Diaz, but he has scored 3 goals in recent times, including one against Leeds in the FA Cup a few weeks ago. But what a start for Derby County, and at the moment, highlighting the congested nature of the Championship, they have leapt from 11th to 6th.
Wow. Yeah, like I said ahead of kick-off, that they'll view this as the sort of game that can propel them towards the playoff picture. You know, I know a couple of Derby fans, and they think they can do it, especially if they can get the home form a little bit better. Because on the road, they set up well, they're solid, and they're very confident that they can come anywhere in the division and nick a result. And look, at the moment, you know, they haven't had a lot of the ball, but they've been supremely efficient, haven't they, once they've got in and around the box.
But now Clark has lost out. Here is Rees bursting into the penalty area for Bristol City. The cross, though, is behind Twine, and it's cleared away by Ozo, out of play on the far side. It's worth giving you the top of the Championship as it stands at the moment. Coventry on top, 58. Middlesbrough 55, Ipswich 50 points, Hull 50, Millwall 49. Then a gap to Derby on 45, Wrexham 44, now outside the playoffs, and Bristol City in 8th with 43, level on points with Watford and Preston.
Yeah, wow. No, it's all to play for. It's a long run in, but I think the running starts now. I really do. 15...
Once you get the transfer window out of the way.
Yeah. This is when it starts. This is the moment where you have to go through the gears. And maybe this is the night that Derby County sort of announce themselves as serious contenders. No one's been talking about Derby County as promotion material this season, and it still feels a long shot, but I think they're starting to believe they can make the playoffs.
Well, it's a big club, isn't it? I mean, if they are going well, they will be getting 30,000 every week at Pride Park.
Yeah, it's a really good club, and look, I think there's a lot of people, myself included, that would be really happy for them if they did make it back to the Premier League, given where they were as a club just, well, how many years ago was it? Feels like 3 or 4, maybe it's longer now, I'm not sure, but they were so close to extinction, really. And they're
4 years
back.
ago.
Yeah, 4 years, yeah, so they bounced back brilliantly.
Now Ozo plays it wide towards Elder. 1 or 2 players just slipping and sliding on the wet playing surface here, but Brewster with a lovely turn, and he plays an excellent ball wide to this near side, the right, and Brereton Diaz. He's got Ward on the overlap. Adjumang waits on the edge of the penalty area. Clark coming short. Now Brereton Diaz again. If you've just joined us, 19 minutes played on Talksport 2. Bristol City 0, Derby County 2. And any Bristol City fans still in the car heading here may be minded to turn round and go home. But there's a long way to go. And of course, this is the EFL Championship.
Yeah, anything can happen. But this is very un-Bristol City-like. If matches ended at half-time, they'd be second in the table. They're normally the fast starters, the ones that score first. But, yeah, tonight they're going to have to come from behind.
Now Brewster manages to gather the ball on his chest, plays it wide to the right at Adjumang, and it was a crucial challenge there on the far side from Sykes to win it back, but then sliding in on the halfway line was Clark, and Derby will move forward again. You can see the confidence coursing through their veins here. 20 minutes played, 2 goals up and right on top.
Yeah. 2 shots on target, 2 goals. But yeah, look, after the first 5 or 10 minutes, it was all Bristol City, but they've been supremely efficient. You can see there's a real spring in their step now. Every player full of beans. They've only had 43% of the ball, but when you're 2-0 up, they won't mind.
Yeah. If you've got 100% of the goals, it doesn't really matter, does it?
It does not matter.
But coming into tonight, 24 of their 42 points, all won away from home.
Yeah.
But now Bristol City looking to respond. Randall working it wide to the far side, but the cross in from Sykes straight into the arms of Richard O'Donnell. Back in the Derby goal tonight.
That will wind up Gerhard's Druber, because that's not a hard cross.
No.
For Mark Sykes. He's missed about 3 or 4 red shirts and stuck it straight in the keeper's arms there.
Gerhard Struber down there underneath his Bristol City bobble hat will not be happy with the start his side have made. Trailing by 2-0 on a night when they could have moved into the top 6 for the 6th time this season. Now Sykes. Infield again towards the former Derby player, Jason Knight. Knight tries to play the ball inside Elder, wide to the far side, looking for Bell, but it's Clark who comes across, and he will squirt the ball behind, and it will be a corner kick to Bristol City.
Yeah, it's a nice idea actually for Knight. Just knocked it in between players for the run of Bell. And Matt Clark, who's not the most mobile centre-half we've ever seen, was actually pretty quick there across 3 or 4 yards to just get there first and to put it out for a corner.
And the rain sweeping across this stadium once again as the corner is played deep towards the edge of the penalty area, but Clark was fouled there by Rees, and it will be a free kick to Derby County. 2 goals up here, and we will be covering all of the action in the EFL Championship and elsewhere tomorrow. Leicester Charlton at 12:30 with Ollie Klink, Adam Bridge and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Then Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League and the EFL. Here on Talksport 2 at 3, big game at Loftus Road. Queen's Park Rangers against Coventry. Coventry, of course, looking to build their lead at the top again. QPR hoping to respond to that late collapse at home to Wrexham last week. And then on Talksport at 8 o'clock, back in the Premier League, Faker Rother, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce live at Anfield for Liverpool against Newcastle. And I heard Stan Collymore driving down here today on H&J talking about previous games, and back in his day, of course, they were always dramatic, but in recent years Liverpool at Anfield against Newcastle have always seemed to win.
I was looking at that game earlier. I think 9 wins from the last 10 metres, so they've really got a hold over Newcastle, but that's going to be a good game. Really, really interesting one.
And Sunderland Burnley from the Premier League also coming up on Talksport 2 on Monday night with Adrian Cameron Pope and Dean Ashton. And the Carabao Cup semi-finals will be sorted out next week. Arsenal Chelsea on Tuesday, Manchester City against Newcastle on Wednesday, and both home teams defending first leg leads.
It's all go, isn't it? Nice. Yeah.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And of course, the transfer window shut 7 o'clock on Monday, and Talksport and the Talksport network and Talksport.com is the place to follow all of the late moves. 24 minutes played here. 0-2 the scoreline. Derby County taking early control. Here is McCrory, though, for Bristol City. His low cross, though, is deflected off Ozo. Fired towards goal by Knight. He had plenty of time to think about that, but the ball was spinning all over the place following the deflection, and it sliced high and wide. Yeah,
it was one of those moments where he didn't really want to take it on first time, I don't think, because of the spin of the ball. It got deflected into his path. He actually had much more time than he thought. He felt, I've got to hit this because I've got so much space here. I need to hit it before they close me down. But I think he could have afforded to take a touch there, Knight, maybe get it onto his stronger foot and test the goalkeeper, of course, who's had a pretty easy ride so far, hasn't he? O'Donnell, he'd have been pretty nervous. Would you say it's a second championship start since?
We started the game against Charlton, the previous away game, which they won because Vidal Zetterstrom was injured. Here's another chance now for Derby. Clark played through, but he drags the shot wide, and it should have been 3-0.
Yeah, it really should. Bobby Clark, I think he's hit this too early. Again, he's got a little bit more time than he believes there. It comes from a turnover. Again, really high up the pitch. Bristol City is supposed to be the pressing team here. They're known for stealing it high, but it's Derby that are doing it. And Bobby Clark raced through, right side of the box, and he screwed his shot, didn't he? It was well wide in the end. Not the best execution from him.
25 minutes played on Talksport 2. Bristol City 0, Derby County 0. The weather now is absolutely foul. The rain is sheeting down, and there's a fairly strong wind as well, so it's really swirling around the lights here at Ashton Gate. The Derby fans in great voice, the Bristol City supporters who have managed to make it into the stadium rather more subdued as Bell comes forward now, but Brewster coming back to do his defending with a good challenge, and Sanderson going all the way back to O'Donnell, who hammers downfield, and Adjaman already backing into Dickey, but Dickey wins the header, and it's played back by Randall towards Dickey again, who was in some traffic there, and he was maybe slightly fortunate to get the ankle tap from Adjaman and the free kick.
Yeah, they need to settle down big time. The Bristol City defenders, they're not comfortable on the ball at the moment. Whether it's Dickey, Prigg, any of the guys, Tanner, it's they look edgy, but
they're the only players really on the ball, because Derby are very happy for them to have it.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably been part of the game plan. Let the centre halves have it. They're not that comfy on it. You know, we know that Randall and Knight are very tidy in central midfield. It's a really good start this from Derby.
But now Randall comes forward. It's slipped behind Bell, but it will be recovered by McCrory down the left-hand side. But his low cross is blocked by Ward, and it will be a throw-in for Bristol City by the corner flag on this near side, the left. Quickly in towards Knight, who was one of those young players Derby had to sell during their financial problems a few years ago. Now Brereton Diaz has given the ball away. McCrory infield towards Randall. And Adam Randall goes wide towards McCrory, who's unable to keep the ball in play. And it will be a throw-in for Derby County on this near side. And they remain completely in control of this game with 27 minutes played, leading by 2-0.
Yeah, this is their sort of happy place, isn't it? Being away from home, being in the lead, Derby County. You know, they came here tonight, you know, having won half their away games. That's extraordinary. That's definitely promotion form. It's just if only they can replicate it on their own patch.
Now Randall does well to pick up a loose ball for Bristol City, bursting towards the edge of the penalty area. Sykes with a low cross in down the right, but again it's excellent defending inside the box to execute the block, and it will be a corner kick.
Well, it's Callum Elder, the man who made that opening goal. He gets across and he throws his body in front of the cross, and it's because it's a really dangerous situation. Randall, it's a turnover. Randall drives forward. He slips it to the right hand side, and Elder, you know, he puts his body on the line there. That's outstanding defending. A moment ago we saw Ryan Brewster run from the left wing to track his man to the edge of his own box. They're really at it tonight, the Rams. They want to work hard for each other.
Corner kick swirled high to the far post. Knight was shaping for it, headed away by Clark, and now played wide by Tanner towards Randall, and Tanner again down the left-hand side, but it's overhit the through ball looking for Knight, and it will go behind for a Derby County goal kick, and they will take their time here in complete control of this game. And this is the start of a crucial spell for Bristol City. Hull away, Wrexham at home, their next two games.
Ooh, yeah, tricky. Yeah, look, Wrexham have got goals in them, home and away. And Hull, for me, the absolute surprise package of the season. I did not see that. I thought they might do well to get towards mid-table this season, but they're in the hunt for top two, aren't they? You know, not many people are talking about them, but they're on the heels of Ipswich and Borough and Coventry.
People talking about Millwall as well now.
Yep.
Alex Neil, of course, has A CV which does have a promotion to the Premier League on it.
Yeah.
Long time ago now, but he still did it.
Well, you look at managers that have been at the top of the Championship in recent seasons, managers that have taken teams up. Most of them have done it before. It definitely counts. It counts for plenty.
Now Travis, another loose ball for Bristol City. You can hear one or two moans and groans from the home supporters here as the rain gets even heavier. Ward, wide to Brereton Diaz. First time ball down the line, right-hand side. Clark anticipating. Good football from Derby County again. Clark now with the crossing opportunity, but it's back to Brereton Diaz. That long hair slicked down by the rain. And now Clark again. Ward makes the burst into the penalty area, but Clark with lovely skills to evade the challenge. The cross though is behind Brewster, but it's recovered by Ozo. And now Elder down the left-hand side. Ozo again with the crossing opportunity. In towards Adjaman. He turns, but the low right-footed shot is blocked on the edge of the area by Tanner. It spins behind for a corner. And listen to those boos from the Bristol City supporters.
Wow, they're just too sharp for Bristol City at the moment. Derby County, great play, wasn't it, from Bobby Clark? Lovely quick feet, drives past Pring, gets to the byline, and then they keep the ball alive. And in the end, it's Adjimang who sort of cuts inside and has his shot blocked. They are swarming all over the home team here.
31 minutes played, corner kick, which Joe Ward will take on the Derby left. So it will be an in-swinger. Adjimang at the near post. Clark will make a late run towards the 6-yard area. And Derby would not be flattered by a third goal at the moment. The corner swung very deep and Adjimang was going for it, and the header is into the side netting. And one or two Derby fans thought that ball had gone in. It was Brereton Diaz with a stooping header at the far post, but it rippled the outside of the netting.
Yeah, the net bulged, but just not in the way that Derby wanted it to. But they're good at set pieces, aren't they? Derby scored a lot of goals from those kind of situations this season.
I mean, John Eustace is a details man, and that's not to demean him in any way, but he's somebody who thinks, what are the basics, what can we do, and let's work on that.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to describe him. Yeah, he gets the basics right with his teams, and you know, that's why they very rarely float at relegation. They're always there or thereabouts.
Corner kick at the other end now for Bristol City. A long ball was played forward. It was set behind. And the corner comes all the way through towards George Tanner. Down the left-hand side now. But the referee has spotted something inside the penalty area and has given a free kick to Derby County. Well, Tom Neal clearly had his eye on something there inside the box, and he's penalised Mark Sykes.
Yeah, it's a mystery to me, but yeah, he saw something that many in this stadium didn't. But look, I don't think Bristol City should lose their heads here. We've got 33 minutes on the clock. There's a long way to go. There's an hour left, let's face it. With injury time, it's probably more than an hour left for them to get something out of this match. It doesn't have to be panic stations just yet. They've got to kind of get these frazzled minds of theirs clear, because at the moment they're definitely rattled by this.
New blood on the bench this evening. Delano Bergzog on loan from Middlesbrough. 2 weeks ago he was scoring the winner live on Talksport 2 at West Brom for Borough. And Seb Naylor, a young left-back sign from Manchester City. And Joe Williams is also back on the bench. Not a new signing, but he'll feel like one, having not played at all this season due to an injury.
Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah, so they welcome him back with open arms. They've got some good players in as options in midfield. Oh, that's nice, isn't it, from Ward and Brereton Diaz.
The flick inside from Brereton Diaz finding Ward, and here is Adjimang coming short. And Brereton Diaz is almost acting as the playmaker wide on the right-hand side, which does give Derby County a real option.
Yeah, and that's why you shouldn't judge him on the goal count, because he spends most of his game with chalk on his heels. But he's a good team player. He grafts, he gets involved in the moves, and I think he's a better footballer than a lot of people give him credit for, because he doesn't look particularly lean or fancy, does he? But he's got a lot of ability.
Well, he's adapted his game, because when he was at Forest as a 17-year-old, he was a barnstorming centre forward, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Retiring per Mertesacker amongst other things in the FA Cup.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Come on.
But then he goes to Blackburn for a surprising amount of money. He develops his game, scores a load of goals, goes to Spain. It doesn't happen for him. And now he's another player, rather like Brewster, looking to rebuild his career.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Championship's probably the right level for him, if we're being honest. But he can be a real top Championship player, and we're seeing tonight, the glimpses of that. Definitely, I like him. I think he's a good passer as well.
10 minutes to play in the first half here at Ashton Gate. The rain has eased, but Derby County continuing to pour on the pressure here, leading by 2-0, and they have had all of the opportunities in the game. Bristol City looking to recover this. Knight on the edge of the penalty area, closed down by Brewster, and now it's back to Tanner, and Brewster has got through a huge amount of work so far, and because he is doing that as well, it does allow Adjaman just to stay up top and occupy 2 of the 3 central defenders.
Yeah, they're all working really hard. Yeah, it's so noticeable. We've got a great vantage point here at Bristol City, and you can see it all, and the work rate from the players is outstanding.
Now Travis plays it wide to Brereton Diaz. Lovely ball in field towards Clark. He could be in, he's clean through, and Clark scores a brilliant goal. 3-0 to Derby County. A devastating counter-attack, and the Rams head into the top 6 in real style. 36 minutes played. They lead by 3-0, and Bristol City are absolutely stunned.
Well, the Rams are rampant. This is an incredible first half performance from John Eustace's side, and what a goal this is. He's so calm. I think there's a shout for offside. We haven't got a monitor in front of us here to look at. It's an early pass from Brereton Diaz that picks out Bobby Clark, and he's got all the time in the world, maybe too much time, but he's ever so calm. Left foot under the keeper into the back of the net.
I think he was offside, looking at a monitor.
My initial view was that's off, but the assistant kept his flag down.
Of course, no VAR in the Championship, and Jonathan Bickerdike, the assistant on this near side, kept the flag down.
Yeah, my eyes were drawn to him straight away, because I thought the flag's got to go up here. And of course, we are in the Championship, so they don't keep their flag down, to wait for VAR. And look, they played on to their credit, and Bobby Clark finishes it nicely. It's a great pass. It's a brilliant pass from Brereton Diaz on the counter, but yeah, maybe they got lucky there.
But they're heading for their 5th away victory in their last 6 victories. If they could be anything like this at Pride Park, they would be challenging the top 2.
They would, yeah. And look, they could. This is the kind of performance that should give them the belief that they can go, home or away, be this good. This is really impressive. I mean, Bristol City are all over the place, but they look a team, don't they? They look a team that are industrious, well organised, and very, very determined, certainly tonight.
Well, a wayward pass for Bristol City goes out to play on the far side, and that was the cue for a number of fans to head down to the concourses, and you just wonder whether all of them will return here. Yeah. It's been a horrible night on the roads, a really difficult journey to get here, and in a big game against a playoff rival, or potential playoff rival, they are 3-0 down before half-time.
Yeah, well, we had the owner, didn't we? Was it Steve Lansdowne? Steve Lansdowne sat in front of us earlier. He's under the microscope anyway, because he's might be selling Zach Viner. He has sold Anis Mehmeti. Yeah, the mood is fragile as it is, and yeah, this might push a few to leave early, especially now that the rain's finally stopped. I don't think there'd have been many racing for their cars.
Use that window to get to the car. Yeah. But look, we're not at half-time, as we say. A goal back before half-time, but it could be different. And Risa tries to knock the ball into the penalty area, and it's a goal back for Bristol City, but the flag is up. It was Sanderson who cleared it, and he thundered the ball into the body of Bell, and it ricocheted in, but the flag's up for offside.
Maybe that's 2 slices of good fortune for Derby County in the last couple of minutes. Sanderson, he has to turn, sprint back towards his own goal, and he slides in to hook the ball away, and he smashes it straight at Sam Bell, who's so hard working, and it goes into the back of the net. But the flag was up pretty early, much to the relief of Sanderson. Yeah, it's just, you get the feeling this is not Bristol City's night.
39 minutes played, Bristol City 0, Derby County 3 on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2, as Elder wins it again on the left-hand side, but then just overruns it, and it will go out of play. And this is a Derby team which had only 1 win in its opening 10 games. Then they won 5 in a row. Since then, it's been 5 wins, 4 draws and 5 defeats, which is sort of solid championship form, but it's all about momentum. We've seen Wrexham have it recently. We've seen Millwall have it at the moment, apart from that loss at Coventry when they played well and maybe should have got something from that game. And that's often what the championship's all about.
Definitely, yeah. You string because everyone can beat anyone else. If you can string 4 or 5 wins together, it will propel you, let me tell you, up the league. And they will be thinking about that now. Derby County, just looking at their fixtures, they've got Ipswich at home, Swansea at home, Watford away, Hull away. Then they've got Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday at home. There's a lot of points, I think, there to be won.
Well, Ipswich is a huge game coming up. But then again, Blackburn are desperate. John Eustace playing against his former side, so...
Yeah, well, Blackburn are another team that are better away than they are at home. So, yeah, look, there's no gimmies. There's no free hits in this division, that is for sure. And that's why we love it.
The Bristol City have a big rebuilding job here. Now Knight evading the challenge of Travis, and he clips it wide to this near side. And McCrory will try and keep the ball in play, but all he can do is head the ball up in the air, and it will be a throw-in for Derby County. And this is a first half that those Derby fans won't want to end, leading by 3-0.
Yeah, no shots on target. Just three attempts. I can't really remember any being remotely close to scoring. You look at the other end of the pitch, Derby have had 8 shots, 3 on target, and of course 3 goals.
Now Sykes coming forward again for Bristol City, infield to Bell, and Bell tries to work it further forward towards Rees, but he's closed down. But then McCrory with a good challenge on this near side on Brereton Diaz. But here is Ozo, who is able to play it up towards Adjamang on the halfway line, but this time the ball doesn't stick with him, and there is a player down. It's a Ross McCrory. I think he was caught by Brereton Diaz, maybe an accidental boot to the back of the head following that earlier challenge.
Yeah, he's gone over to sort of apologise there, hasn't he, Ben? Hopefully it's something that he can get over, because McCrory has created a lot of chances this season. He gets forward well. I think he prefers it on the right, if I'm honest. Hasn't been as impactful on the left, but this little break in play does give Gerhard Struber the opportunity to have a little sort of mini team talk, and all but the goalkeeper and who's that over on the far side? Is that Sykes on the far side? Yeah, almost everybody's come over to have a little chat with the manager.
And Sykes' shirt is being ruffled by the wind. It is very, very breezy down there as well, which doesn't make it easy if you're trying to chase the game. With 2 minutes of normal time to play in the first half here. Derby County leading by 3-0. John Eustace's heaviest loss as a manager, with 5-0 here with Blackburn a couple of seasons ago, but a very different story here so far this evening.
He'll be so proud of this performance, because this is a John Eustace team at its best. Organised, hungry and efficient, and that's what he's looking for. They're doing the basics brilliantly, and they've had their rewards, haven't they, tonight? And it would just be interesting to see whether they then ease off and start to defend deeper, or whether they continue to play in the sort of aggressive way that they have so far in the game.
Well, Gerhard Struber was, I think, trying to motivate his team. There was lots of hand clapping down there during that break. Of course, he produced that improbable act of escapology with Barnsley. 6 seasons ago now to keep them in the Championship. He's then travelled around Europe, most recently with Cologne in the second tier in Germany, but he was sacked with 2 games to play when they were top of the table, and then they went on to win promotion, but he wasn't able to celebrate it.
It's a bit harsh, that.
Well, they had one of those wobbles late in the season. They thought, right, we've got to make a decision here.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, he's made a good impression in the job so far. Obviously, it's a bit of a horror show tonight, but in general, I think he has impressed at Bristol City, as he did at Barnsley.
Yeah, well, of course, he took over from Liam Manning when he chose to go back to his hometown club, Norwich, and already he's moved on to Huddersfield. 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, and I would estimate around half of the Bristol City fans in the stadium are at the moment not watching the football. They're downstairs trying to keep warm, or as Derby come forward again now. Excellent crossfield ball from Brewster to find Brereton Diaz, who brings it down superbly, and now Clark wide towards Brereton Diaz again. Ward has got support from Ozo. Body swerve from him to evade Emil Rees, and Derby have not just smashed and grabbed here. They played some excellent football in the first half.
Yeah, very confident. Yeah, neat and tidy on the ball. They've got a little bit of swagger about them. Yeah, not a high possession team, and they haven't had loads of it tonight. But when they have had the ball, they've looked a class outfit.
Lewis Travis just allows the ball to drift under his studs, out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Bristol City. And this Derby team were some way adrift in the relegation zone around this time last year, but they ended with 6 wins, 3 draws and 2 defeats to survive only by a point in the end. Of course, they had that horrible run of 2 points in 12 games before and during the sacking of Paul Warne. A long ball played forward again for Bristol City, headed away by Sanderson, gathered by Bell, who twists and turns, fires in the left-footed shot. Sanderson lunges in to make the block, and Brewster quickly plays it forward, looking for Adjemang, and the ball will bounce kindly there for Adjemang, who claims he was dragged down by Dickey, but the referee disagrees.
Yeah, I think the wind blew him over there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have given that, and I'm 50 yards away? More than.
Now Randall plays it wide to McCrory on this near side, but again he comes in field, and again he throws his arms up saying, where's the movement, where are the options? Knight looking to work it wide towards McCrory again, but he rather fizzed the ball into his feet, so a heavy first touch from McCrory, almost gives it back to Clark, and that's symptomatic of the scrambled mindset from Bristol City in this game at the moment. A long ball played forward though for Rees, and he's shoved over by Sanderson in the fullback area on this near side, and a rather unnecessary free kick for Bristol City right at the end of added time.
Yeah, I don't think that'll please his manager. That was a little bit daft from Dion Sanderson. Right on the stroke of half time, just hold the player up. You don't need to go and make physical contact. This will be the last play of this first half, and they've got some defending to do. He's going to whip this in, isn't he? Scott Twine with pace into a very crowded box.
Twine will deliver this, right-footed, and it will be an in-swinger. Everybody back for Derby County, defending their 6-yard area. Everybody forward for Bristol City. Twine high into the penalty area, guided away though by the header Brewster, and that is it. And that is the reaction of the Bristol City supporters. Boos ringing around Ashton Gate, but the Derby fans are loving this away to our left-hand side in the Atio stand. It has been the perfect first half from the Rams. They lead by 3 goals to 0. Rhian Brewster with a well-executed volley. Ben Brereton Diaz with a shot through a forest of legs, and then a superb breakaway finished off by Bobby Clark with a hint of offside just before half-time, and Bristol City have had very little in response, and as it stands, Derby are cruising into the playoff places for the first time this season. Half-time, Bristol City 0, Derby County 3.
Well, I told you before the game that Derby County outperformed their XG by 9 goals. Only Hull City better than them in that regard. You can add another couple of goals if things stay the same tonight. Expected goals 1.13 in the first half of Derby County. They've scored 3 goals. Just 0.13 expected goals for Bristol City, who've had 59% possession, 4 shots, none of them on targets. No big chances in the game for them. 8 shots, 3 of those on target for Derby County, 2 big chances. They've scored 3 times. They've looked absolutely free to do what they want in attack, to be perfectly honest. Incredibly disorganised performance from Gerhard Struber's Bristol City at home in front of their own fans. They've been rightly booed off at the break. Adrian Clark, where on earth did that come from in a positive sense for Derby County? Incredible.
Yeah, let's talk about Derby and how brilliant they've been, because that was one of the best first half performances I've seen from any team this season at any level. They set about their work with the right attitude from the get-go. They haven't had a lot of the ball, as you've said, just 40.5%, but they've been so good when they've had it, and they've popped the ball around, they've created chances, they've looked very, very sharp. The minds are very, very bright. You know, he spent a long time on the bus, remember, earlier on today.
Yeah.
At one point, they thought they were going to be hard pushed to make the kickoff. They got here in decent enough time in the end, but the preparation wasn't excellent, and you would never know it, because that was a near perfect first half display from Derby County. Some great goals, superb finishing, but in general, it's the determination and the hostility of their play that's also caught my eye.
See what you mean. It's like a Sunday morning performance, isn't it? You just show up, get the kit on, get out there, let them have what for. That's pretty much what Derby County have done. As brilliant as Derby County have been, it's been a fairly miserable performance from Bristol City. What has made for their 3-goal deficit?
Wow. Yeah, their heads have gone. I think from 2-0 down, they were a little bit of a mess. I think the new look back 3, because they've had to make changes there, they've looked really uncomfortable. Obviously, Blackburn have kind of gone quite high. You've got Brereton, Diaz on one side, Brewster on the other. You've got Adjumang, Clark's quite high as well. Those 4 are really getting onto the back 3 of Bristol City, and they've been rattled, and they looked edgy in possession. They've given the ball away in bad areas. And look, obviously going forward, they look bright at times, but they haven't created any chance of note at all. So yeah, lots of work for them to do. Bristol City, by the way, the subs are out there working very, very hard at the break. Wouldn't surprise me if early on in the second half the manager makes changes, or potentially 1 or 2 might get called in the next few minutes to come on at half time. Because I've got to say, from a Bristol City point of view, that's a shambolic first half.
Yeah, and I think the manager has to do something about it at the break, at least to give, I guess, a reaction to the fans inside the stadium that he's trying to do something to alleviate what they've just seen in the first 45 minutes. Derby County, let's talk through the 3 goals very quickly. In front, inside 13 minutes, it was Rhian Brewster. He just made it look so easy with a brilliant finish, volleying home after a great delivery from Callum Elder.
Yeah, it was a picture-perfect goal, wasn't it? 10 out of 10 cross, 10out of 10 volley. It was on a plate because it had pace. It had, he didn't have to generate any power because all of the pace was on the ball. But even so, the technique to watch it onto his right foot, guide it past the keeper, was Premier League quality from Rhian Brewster. So yeah, that was the perfect start. He didn't look like a player that only scored twice in the Championship this season, did he?
Yeah, lovely finish. The second goal looked like it was probably deflected off Jason Knight by the look of it, off a Bristol City foot. It may go down as an own goal, but for now, let's credit Ben Brereton Diaz with it. We spoke about him before the game, his ability to get chances and take them. Maybe dragged it slightly wide, but again, it's Bristol City trying to play out, and they just didn't look comfortable doing it.
No, they didn't. No, yeah, they won the ball. They've won the ball fairly high. They've sort of got a mid block tonight, Derby. But if there's a chance to step on and win it high, they're not afraid to go and put a bit of pressure on. And that's how that goal came about. They won it really high up the pitch. Then a couple of players almost scored and had sort of half shots or thought about shooting. It got work to the right side of the box to Diaz. He was in too much space, and yeah, it definitely took a deflection into the far corner that was kind for him. But yeah, it was the least that the Rams deserved, I thought.
Very tight offside call for the third. Bobby Clark pretty much sealed the win, in my opinion. The flag stayed down. He took it fairly well as well. Let's just say in the EFL, he was level. What do you think?
well, yeah, I don't have the monitor here, so it's difficult to tell.
Yeah, it was one of those where the feet looked in line, but Bobby Clark's body looked like it was leaning more towards the goal because obviously he was accelerating away.
Yeah, I can see there's a monitor to our left, but I'm very much on the angle. I can't really see too clearly. So, but my first instinct was that that looked offside, but the assistant kept the flag down, and it was a great early pass from Brereton Diaz for Clark, one-on-one. He had a lot of time to think about what sort of finish to produce. Just went under the keeper, didn't he? It was nice and calm, and
I do think the keeper could have got in his face though. The ball was running at an angle almost away from goal. Yeah. And I think he stood too long and stayed too far away from the ball. Really could have closed that angle down. Yeah. But I think he possibly thought Clark maybe would have got there one or two paces sooner.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. Yeah, there's one point where you thought he could do that. But yeah, Vitek's had a good season. I think that they're very happy with him on loan from Manchester United. But yeah, maybe didn't cover himself in glory there. But look, this isn't about the keeper. This is about the back three, the back five, how badly they've struggled in the game.
Yeah, defensive lines all over the place. Yeah,
it's a complete mess. And then going forward, I think Reece, they've worked hard going forward. In truth, I think Sam Bell's been busy and bright, but just nothing has come off for them. I suspect that Bergzor, given that he's just joined, he might be one of the first to come on in this second half because, like you said earlier, Hugh, he has to be seen to be trying to do something proactive here.
Okay, all right, we'll see what Gerhard Struber does. If, by the way, John Eustace will make any changes because he's 3 goals up, maybe doesn't need to score any more. The Rams have run riot in the first half at Ashton Gate. At the break, Bristol City 0, Derby County 3.
Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
On your marks, get set, go hybrid. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. More oomph than a Friday feeling. And smoother than your last online date. More confidence, more go. In a new hybrid engine. With 0% APR representative over 24 months. The new Toyota Aygo Cross Hybrid. Go on. Visit your local Toyota centre. Price from £21,595. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 31st March 2026. Optional final payment indemnities may be required. See website, conditions apply.
Hello, Mike's Mechanics. How can we help?
Can you tell me what's wrong with my car? It's making a grrr noise.
Right. And is that when you brake or accelerate?
So when I brake, it's more of a... and when I accelerate, it's more of a... If you get me?
Right.
Customers can be hard work. Switching your bank account won't be. We'll automatically move your regular payments over when you switch with the Current Account Switch service.
Idle money chills in your current account, parked in front of the telly, wanting a snack, yet too lazy to move. But thanks to Monzo, busy money got up early, automatically split your paycheck into pots, rounded up your purchases into savings, invested your interest into ISAs. Oh, and has already written itself a to-do list for tomorrow. Monzo, the bank that gets your money moving. UK residents aged 18+, Monzo personal account required, capital at risk, T's and C's and fees may apply.
We interrupt your usual broadcast for something unexpected from Currys.
Excuse me, do you repair Xbox consoles?
Yep. At Currys, we've thousands of trained technicians who repair all kinds of tech, even if you didn't buy it here. What's wrong with it?
My 4-year-old put it in the washing machine.
I see.
And do you repair washing machines?
Yep. What's the problem?
My 4-year-old put an Xbox in it.
Of course he did.
And do you repair 4-year-olds?
Come again?
He keeps putting Xboxes in washing machines.
Oh, adorable. There he goes again.
Put that down!
Tech repaired at Currys. Is it really unexpected or just beyond expectations?
Charges apply. See terms online.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched-on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app.
This is Talksport 2.
It's a super heavy Saturday of highly reactive game day football.
On the Talksport network.
QPR fuse with commentary from 3 on Talksport 2. Then at 8, Liverpool react with Newcastle live on Talksport. It's a super heated Saturday of live game day football
on the Talksport network.
Hi, Jeff Stelling here, with news of another supercharged weekend of live and exclusive football on Talksport and Talksport 2.
And he pops it in!
Tomorrow afternoon, the frenetic football continues. From 12:30, it's Leicester versus Charlton, followed at 3 by QPR versus Coventry. Both games are live on Talksport 2.
And they have been able to turn it around!
Rounding off at 8 with an exciting Premier League showdown as Liverpool go head-to-head with Newcastle, live on Talksport.
Strikes low and scores!
Going for goal with a glorious weekend of high-powered, full-on football, live and exclusive on Talksport and Talksport 2.
It's the totally immersive football experience.
Right foot in. Oh, what a goal!
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
So a win for Derby tonight, and they would be inside the top 6 for the first time this season. They get the game underway. Clark will win it back for Derby again. The crossing from Elder, looking for Brewster. Excellent volley from Rian Brewster, and a fine goal for Derby County.
Top quality in terms of technique from Rian Brewster. And we have ourselves a game, don't we now?
Brewster with another shot, it's blocked, and now cleared as far as Clark. Clark plays it wide. Brereton Diaz with a shot. A second goal for Derby. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Ben Brereton Diaz rolling the shot beyond an unsighted goalkeeper, and Derby County have taken a vice-like grip on this game.
They may have been stuck in traffic on the way to the game, but they've got straight into top gear.
Now Travis plays it wide to Brereton Diaz. Lovely ball infield towards Clark. He could be in, he's clean through, and Clark scores a brilliant goal. 3-0 to Derby County. A devastating counter-attack, and the Rams head into the top 6 in real style.
Yes, the Rams are rampant. Brewster, Brereton Diaz and Clark all scoring, meaning that at the break, Derby County lead Bristol City by 3-0 away at Ashton Gate and are well on their way to a top 6 spot for the first time in this championship season. The second half will be with you very, very shortly here on Talksport 2. I'm Hugh Wozencroft. And just to let you know, plenty more live and exclusive football to come across the Talksport network this weekend. Tomorrow here on Talksport 2, we've got a double header from the championship. Leicester against Charlton in the championship. Life after Marty Cifuentes starting at the King Power at 3 o'clock will be at Loftus Road as the leaders Coventry City go away from home looking for a first win away in the championship in 8 games. Over on Talksport tomorrow at 1 o'clock, it's Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Charlie Adam and Mickey Gray. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League and the EFL. Brighton taking on Everton. The leaders Arsenal are away at Leeds. Wolves take on Bournemouth as well. We'll have a classified results at 5:15 and the live Premier League game tomorrow night from Anfield as Liverpool take on Newcastle. So plenty of live action coming your way in the coming days. Let's head back to Ashton Gate. There should be a reaction from Bristol City, who trail at home by 3-0, and there will certainly be changes afoot for Gert Hardstrew, but I will leave you with the second half with the former Arsenal midfielder Adrian Clark and our very own Nigel Adderley.
Thanks, Hugh. Yeah, a double change for Bristol City at the start of the second half. Neto Borges, the left-back on loan from Middlesbrough, will be coming on, along with Sinclair Armstrong, the Irish international, the former Queen's Park Rangers player. And we're looking through the team, it looks like Sam Bell and Mark Sykes, the 2 players who came into the side this evening, they will be the ones to make way. But Adrian Clark, will there be a change in shape?
Well, we'll find out soon enough. Neto Borges is a left-back, so maybe not. Yeah, look, I'm not sure about taking Sam Bell off. For me, Sam Bell was arguably the brightest player for Bristol City in that first half. I don't know whether the manager has made that decision based on what he's seen. I think he's made that decision on a pecking order that he views as his first choice 11. So I think I would be very disappointed if I was Sam Bell. I do think that Ross McCreary's better on the right. So I get the fact that Sykes has gone off, but yeah, strange one. Harrison, Armstrong will at least Sinclair Armstrong will bring power and pace, won't he? He should shake a few, rattle a few cages second half.
Well, it's Bristol City who will get the second half underway, trailing here by 3-0. No changes for Derby, and Gerhard Struber sent out the Robins very, very early for the second half. And they were out there getting cold, rubbing their hands long before Derby County made it out of the dressing room as Derby get the second half underway in the dark grey shirts, attacking the goal away to our right in the second half, leading by 3-0. Ross McCrory has gone over to the right. He looks to close down Sanderson, but he will guide the ball all the way back towards Richard O'Donnell. Back in the side tonight, the 37-year-old, and he has had nothing to do.
That's been a breeze for him, hasn't it? That's a good pass, isn't it, to Clark?
Clark has been picked out again by Brereton Diaz, and he twists and turns away from the challenge on the right-hand side. Brereton Diaz was in support, but he just overruns it, and Bristol City will play up to the halfway line. And here is Armstrong. Burst of pace from him to go beyond Travis into the penalty area inside Sanderson, but he runs into Clark, cleared as far as Twine, and then Ozo will bring the ball clear. And here is Adjumang for Derby County. Back to Brewster. Brewster was fouled, but the referee Tom Neal playing the advantage because Adjumang has it again. Wide to this near side and Elder. And who would have thought that Derby scored 3 times away from home in the first half, and Patrick Adjumang hasn't scored any of them?
Yeah, remarkable, because they've relied on him, haven't they, in the absence of Carlton Morris. He's got the bulk of the goals that they scored. Yeah, just looking at the shape, it's still a back three, but it's a 3-5-2. That's what's happened here. They sacrificed one of the attacking midfielders. It's more of a sort of maybe a 3-1-4-2 formation. And yeah, let Armstrong up there alongside Emil Rees. Will it change things? Let's see how it pans out. It was a good start, wasn't it, from Sinclair Armstrong? Really barnstorming run down the middle of the pitch.
The Bristol City team is Vitek in goal. Tanner, Dickey are the back three, along with McCrory as the ball is played forward long again, and in the end it's all the way through. In fact, Borges has now dropped in as one of the central defenders, even though he is a left back. So McCrory is playing on the right, and Pring has gone over to the left hand side. Randall and Twine alongside Knight in midfield, with Rees alongside Armstrong in attack. The Derby team is O'Donnell in goal. Their back four is Ward, Sanderson, Clark and Elder. Travis and Ozo holding in midfield. Brereton, Diaz, Clark and Brewster behind Adjumang in attack. So we've not seen either of the new signings for Bristol City yet, including Delano Bergzorg, who you would imagine would come on at some stage in the evening. But here is Clark coming forward now for Derby County, fighting Brewster. He comes in field onto the right foot, hits it right-footed, and it's high over the top into those Derby fans.
Yeah, he's not come close to hitting the target there. He's blazed it high and wide. It was a good breakaway again. Bobby Clark's been good, hasn't he, tonight, in that 10 role. Seems to be getting a lot of space, and he's able to travel forward with it once again. He fed it left. He could have gone right. He went left on that occasion to Brewster, but he wasted the opportunity.
On loan from Salzburg, but better known for his time with Liverpool as a youngster, and still only 20 years of age, so he's got a long time ahead of him. And Derby giving him a very good stage at the moment. And another youngster, Yanden Banel, on loan from Burnley, 21-year-old, is on the bench for the first time this evening, following the departure of Corey Blackett-Taylor to Bolton and Caden Jackson to Bradford over the last couple of days. Two players who possibly are going back to their level, I would have to say.
Maybe, yeah. Blackett-Taylor hasn't really worked for him here.
And they paid a decent amount of money for him as well.
Yeah, look, not every signing works out. I think he'll do okay at Bolton.
Yeah. Well, they've signed a couple of wide players. Rob Apter also moving from Charlton as well. Now an opportunity for Brewster, fighting Clark on the edge of the penalty area for Derby. Back towards Brewster again, and now Adjumang looking to turn onto the right foot. The shot is blocked. Half-hearted appeals for handball from one or two Derby players, and certainly the fans behind the goal, but Bristol City will scramble the ball away.
I think it did hit his arm, but could he move out the way? Nah, not for me. It was point blank range. But again, it's Clark involved, Rhian Brewster as well, and then Adjumang's turn was fantastic. He opened up his body, took it on his back foot, and he was looking to rifle it into that far corner. I think it definitely hit the arm of a Bristol City defender, but nothing he could do.
Adjumang now looking to turn, having been found by Ozo, but he just gets the ball caught between his feet, and Dickey will clear. And here is Armstrong now on the counter-attack. Another terrific run from him down the centre for Bristol City. Infield again towards Randall on the right foot, but he overruns it. But it will come to McCrory inside the penalty area. He's challenged by Travis and goes down, but no foul. But here is Randall again. Back towards Tanner, who is the closest to a ball-playing central defender of the three they really have. And Tanner comes in field again, up towards the edge of the penalty area, but he's robbed by Ozo, and Clark now can lead the counter-attack. Adjumang goes down on the halfway line, and he was caught there by Dickey, miles off the ball, and the referee's given a free kick, but hasn't shown a yellow card.
No, it's good refereeing, because he's seen the foul, even though it wasn't sort of active. How good has David Ozo been tonight? I know he picked up that early yellow card, didn't he? But he's broken up play wonderfully. His passing's been terrific as well. I always liked him. I saw him in the Premier League when he was at Palace, and I thought, he looks a player. And when Derby signed him, I thought they've got a bit of a gem there. Obviously, he's had a big injury, which has disrupted his loan spell last year. But I think he's starting to develop into a top-class defensive midfielder, David Ozo. I think he's one to keep your eye on, along, of course, with Bobby Clark, who you've just mentioned. Two young boys that have got plenty in their locker.
And Ozo's also had injury problems this season as well. He only came back recently for the FA Cup tie against Leeds. But it's a Derby team with plenty of experience, so one or two youngsters have certainly got those around them to really help them out. As Dickey will gather for Bristol City again. 51 minutes played here on Talksport 2. Bristol City 0, Derby County 3. Derby moving up into the top 6 for the first time this season, unless we see something spectacular here from Bristol City in the second half. Now Clark, infield towards Adjumang again, and he's drawn Dickey into the challenge and then come away from him, and it's quickly forward from Elder, and now Clark receives it from Brewster, and some of the close passing from Derby has been a joy to watch so far. Adjumang plays a great ball back towards Clark again, but the flag is raised.
Magnificent football. That was a joy to watch. It really was. Little keep ball session, wasn't it, down this left-hand side? Little triangle, two touch, but there's flicks and tricks, and they were basically leading Bristol City a merry dance there, and it could only have been a fraction offside.
Now it's wide to the far side for Bristol City, and they're heading for their 5th home defeat of the season, and it comes at a pretty bad time for them, really. Well, there's never a good time to lose 3-0 at home, but of course a favourite has departed. One or two others might be on the way as well at the end of the transfer window, and that will always create restlessness among the supporters as Clark challenges Twine. He wants a free kick, but nothing given, but there will be one here for Derby, because Brereton Diaz has been dragged back on the far side, and Twine is still having an argument about the challenge on him that didn't result in a free kick.
No, I didn't think it was a foul. Look, Matt Clark's an aggressive centre-half. He's a big, strong boy. I think it was just physical contact. We see a lot of that in the EFL, and I think he's just wanted that foul from the referee, even though it wasn't really there. But look, are they going to sit on this lead or not? I think the answer is no. They want more, and they've sent virtually everyone forward for this free kick derby.
Ward with the free kick. It's very, very deep, and it's swirled high into the arms of Radek Vitek, the young Czech goalkeeper on loan from Manchester United. But Bristol City have just not got going here tonight at all. I saw the Derby County team arrive downstairs an hour and 10 minutes before kick-off, which is late, but they only left their hotel on the other side of Bristol at 4:45. So really, they did well to get here as soon as they did.
Yeah, that is good going. Yeah, because
because we weren't moving for long spells.
Honestly, I think I did 10 miles in. It took me over 2 hours to do 10 miles. So it was not fun getting here. They did well, and look, an hour and 10's fine. Do you know what? As a player, I used to like it if we got there about that sort of time. If we got there 2 hours before, twiddling my thumbs, you get a little bit on edge, you can overthink it. I think sometimes just get there, get changed, get on with it. Sometimes that's the best way.
Well, Derby County have certainly taken the initiative here. 10 minutes into the second half, Gerhard Struber making 2 changes, but we've seen 1 or 2 flashes from Sinclair Armstrong, but no real change in the way the game is being played at the moment. Oscar Frauler is preparing to come on, the young Danish midfielder for Derby, signed from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now Ward, high ball over the top, and it's hammered into touch on the far side by Borges, the other player who came on at half-time. And Derby now just doing a good job of taking the sting out of anything that Bristol City are looking to build.
Yeah, I mean, they're very comfortable, aren't they? But I think they're still carrying more threat. The only positive I can say is that Sinclair Armstrong has shown what a fast ball carrier he is. And that's been it, second half. As for the football, it is Derby County that are playing the good stuff.
Clark now plays it forward, looking for Adjamang, headed away by Dickey. And it's quickly returned over the top, looking for Brereton Diaz. Down the Derby right, hooked away though by Pring. And Sanderson will step in before Armstrong and lunges in to guide the ball out of play. And the Derby fans really enjoying their evening. Less so elsewhere around Ashton Gate, and I do think some of those fans who disappeared just before half-time have not returned for the second half.
Yeah, it's bound to have happened. And you have to say, sort of from a neutral perspective, you wouldn't mind a Bristol City goal here to make things a little bit more interesting, but the truth is, I think we're more likely to see another Derby goal.
Particularly as Bristol City have to push on here. Dickey plays a good ball wide to the far side. And Pring with the opportunity to deliver a cross, but he's under pressure from Ward, goes back towards Randall. Pring again, square to Knight now, 25 yards out. Knight with the cross high to the far post, looking for McCrory, but it's quickly headed away by Elder, and Elder now will burst forward looking for the through ball from Travis, and he left something on this near side on McCrory, but play continues. McCrory is off the field, and Bristol City continuing with 10 players, although McCrory is back on his feet. And 2 big games coming up for Bristol City. Hull away, Wrexham at home, and they will need a response to what has been a limp performance here so far. Ozo coming forward now for Derby again, fighting Brewster. Brewster over the top, looking for Brereton Diaz, but it's headed away by Borges. Had he missed that, Derby would have been in again.
Yeah, they look dangerous down that side.
But now Armstrong's done well to find Pring. He can burst into the penalty area, but the pass is behind Twine, and it's cleared away by Brewster.
Look, they're showing more dynamism second half. They're sort of running at the heart of this Derby defence with a little bit more drive and purpose than they did, mainly via Pring and Armstrong. But the final decision, the final pass has been way off it, miles off the quality that's required at this level.
Derby captain Lewis Travis is coming off to be replaced by Oscar Frauler. He's only recently back from a calf injury. Of course, he was with John Eustace at Blackburn Rovers, and he's done an effective job so far tonight. He will hand on the armband and make way for the young Dane.
Yeah, no, he's a good game. Travis, probably
unfussy.
Like one of the more understated sort of performers on that Derby team, but I'm sure the manager's delighted with the work that he put in, did a lot of the dirty work, and it's just giving him a chance to get some minutes into Frauler.
Nearly an hour played. Still 3-0 to Derby County here on Talksport 2. As Randall comes forward again for Bristol City, wide towards McCrory, but it's a hopeful ball forward towards the edge of the area, cut out by Clark, and now Adjumang looks to find Bobby Clark, and it's clipped wide by Fowler to the right, seeking out Brereton Diaz, but headed away by Borges. And Bristol City at times have been rather laboured in possession, and it's not a criticism of Emile Rees, but he's done so much of his work a long way from the penalty area.
Yeah, he hasn't looked after the ball great either, Rees, really, tonight, but their passing's just been off, hasn't it? The radar, I don't know whether the conditions have played a part. I think they've quickly lost confidence as well, Bristol City. Pass accuracy is 81%. It feels like that should be a lower figure because they've given the ball away, seemingly a lot of the time.
McCrory plays it forward on this near side, and it will balloon out of play off Elder.
Yeah, well, the reason I think this is because in the final third, the pass accuracy drops to 52%. So when they've got into good areas, only half the
central defenders have had a lot of the ball, haven't they? That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's been really desperate at times from Bristol City.
Randall with the cross in, headed away by Clark at the near post. Bristol City looking to build here with Borges. And Borges clips it infield towards Pring, down the left-hand side. 61 minutes played here on Talksport 2. Bristol City looking to move back into the playoffs tonight, but Derby County will beat them to it, leading by 3-0. If you've just joined us, all 3 goals scored in the first half. Pring now comes forward again, and it's back in field. And the ball high into the area, seeking out Randall, but over his head. Knight will try and win it back, but Brereton Diaz with a sharp challenge. But here is Borges who hits a shot, and it takes a deflection, and I think that is the first save Richard O'Connell has had to make.
It is, yeah. Ironic cheers from the home fans. Yeah, that was shot number 5, but the first one to hit the target, and it was a bit of a dolly, wasn't it? It was easy for the keeper. But yeah, I like Derby's chances down the right-hand side. They've tried to look for it a few times. That long diagonal to Brereton Diaz. I think they can, make some gains down that side of the field. Second half.
Sinclair Armstrong losing out to Clark again. Goodness me. Mazy dribble from Matt Clark. You know it's your night when that happens. And now Brereton Diaz finding Bobby Clark wide towards Adjumang. He can burst into the penalty area, and he curls in a shot left-footed, and it's not too far wide.
That's sensational football. I mean, Matt Clark, beautiful little twinkle toes down on that right far touchline.
Thought it was Pat Nevin.
Yeah, it was quality, wasn't it? I'd have been proud of that myself. And then the move, the incisive passes. It's fizzed into Bobby Clark. He gives it to Adjumang. It's really incisive football from Derby County.
Well, this is interesting. Delano Bergzorg has come on for Bristol City, and it's Scott Twine who has been taken off. And to say that didn't go down well with the vast bulk of the Bristol City support is the understatement of the season.
Yeah, well, Scott Twine's the guy that could just make something happen out of nowhere, isn't he? And that's exactly what you want, isn't it? At 3-0 down, I would have thought. Look, he probably feels under pressure to bring on Bergzorg, but look, it's not been Rees's night. Get him off. Get him off and put Bergzorg and Twine either side of Armstrong. That for me is the obvious move. But yeah, look, I've been a little bit baffled by Bristol City all night, if I'm honest. Yeah, not been one of Gerhard Struber's best evenings.
Well, it's Bergzorg now supporting Armstrong with Rees to the right. And I'm surprised that Bergzorg was allowed to move away on loan by
me too.
Middlesbrough to a potential rival towards the top of the Championship.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, Bergzorg played when I saw him against Southampton, and he was lively, but sort of a short on confidence, I think, ahead of that game. And
he's down the pecking order there.
He is, and they've just signed Jeremy Sarmiento, haven't they? A winger, so he'd have been further down. But I just think, when you're in with a hunt for promotion, maybe it's time for the club to be selfish, think more about themselves than individual players. But look, they've made that call. We'll see how it pans out for both parties.
But there are always budgets to consider, and maybe by moving out Bergzorg on loan, they can afford somebody else.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly. And look, he hasn't scored enough goals. He hasn't posed enough of a threat. So, look, I'm sure it'll be a useful player for Bristol City. But hand on heart, I don't think he's at Anis Mehmeti's level. And he is the guy that he's come in to effectively replace.
Well, he's inherited his shirt, number 11. So that's an interesting call as well.
Yeah.
65 minutes played here on Talksport 2. Bristol City 0, Derby County 3. Clark heading away again above Armstrong. Don't forget, Leicester Charlton coming up 12:30 on Talksport 2 tomorrow. As Brent Brereton Diaz tries to chase again, and Pring clearly had hold of his shirt there, but not spotted by the referee. But Derby coming forward again in great numbers. Fowler wide towards the right-hand side, and Brereton Diaz will guide it into the path of Ward. High cross in, looking for Adjumang with a header. Outstanding goal for Derby County. Patrick Adjumang with a classic centre-forwards header. And Bristol City are ram-raided once again, and Derby are steaming into the top 6.
That is a magnificent header from Adjumang. From the moment that cross landed on his head, you knew exactly where the ball was heading, into the far top corner. It's a wonderful ball in from Joe Ward, but that is what you call a towering header. You don't stop those.
Well, the Stars and Stripes have been unfurled among the Derby fans, and the American international scores his 9th of the season.
Yeah, and he is one of the best headers of a football in the Championship. That is his 5th headed goal this season. He's had 18 headed shots. He's right at the top of the rankings when it comes to aerial stats, and he showed exactly why there. He's a big lad, and he is a menace when the ball is put into the air, into the danger zone. And wow, we said that Derby were more likely to score than Bristol City, and so it's proved. 4-0. This is a statement from the Rams. It really is.
And there must be a fire drill in the home stands, because they've all emptied.
Well, yeah, I mean...
But really, you can't blame them. They've been offered absolutely nothing here tonight.
Well, before they'd even kicked off, most, a lot of fans had cleared off. This is one of those games where I can actually... I don't like it when fans leave early.
But you can understand it tonight.
Tonight is one of those evenings where you kind of get it.
We're only midway through the second half. It's 4-0 to Derby. And this is not a scoreline we anticipated. I thought Derby could do well here tonight, looking at their away form, but not 4-0.
No one would have called this. But Derby's away form is terrific. We talked about it a lot tonight, and you can see that they're just set up to be compact and then break on teams. And they have looked at a real team tonight. The collective is what's impressed me most. There have been some great individual performances. Ozo, Brewster, loads of them. But it's the team. They look like a proper united team, don't they?
Lars Jørgen Salvesen, the Norwegian striker, will be coming on soon, along with Jayden Bonnell, as Bristol City try and build. The cross in from Randall is cleared away by Clark at the near post.
Yeah, well, Bobby Clark's another one. Outstanding individual display from him. I mean, say he's only 20, he's been around a while. He has definitely got a bright future, Bobby Clark. He's a Premier League player.
Adjumang does well again to hold the ball up and then burst to the right and find Brereton Diaz. Brewster into the path of Brereton Diaz, who can saunter forward again. And Derby are utterly in control of this game. It looks like men against boys. It really does.
They've broken them, haven't they? They've broken the hearts of Bristol City here. They look out on their feet, but they're not. They're just mentally shot to pieces tonight, Bristol City. This has been a proper wake-up call. If they thought, we've got a great chance of the playoffs, well, they might be thinking twice about that now, and maybe revising their expectations, because they've been completely outplayed.
Oh, it's been given away here by Brereton Diaz, but only briefly because Sanderson wins it back. And we want 5 is the chant from the Derby fans. And the way this game is going, they may get their wish. As Clark is penalised for a challenge on Randall on halfway. It will be a free kick, and Jayden Bannell will be coming on to make his Derby debut to replace Ryan Brewster, the Dutch youngster signed from Burnley. And Brewster's played his part, scored the opening goal, and he's worked extremely hard. And Lars-Jørgen Salverson will come on for Patrick Adjumang. He scored his goal, and now he will make way for Lars-Jørgen Salverson. And let's be honest, you don't hear USA, USA outside the USA too much these days, but the Derby fans are giving it a lusty rendition there.
They are, yeah, they like him, and I can see why. He's a little bit rough around the edges. He's not, he's a little bit raw, but he's a handful, and he scores goals, doesn't he? Yeah, both those guys, Adjumang and Brewster, top class tonight.
Now Rees holds off the challenge of Fowler, plays it wide to the right of McCrory, and the cross in is guided on by Armstrong on the volley, but it's some way wide.
Yeah, he just couldn't control it. It's really fizzed in, isn't it? It was a good ball in, actually, from McCrory, and it's flashed across the face of goal. He gets a contact on the ball, but it's always spinning away from that far post. But yeah, look, Derby can't have had many, thumping away wins like this, in recent times, can they? This must be, this is a real treat for the Rams supporters, the travelling support. They've been rewarded for a difficult journey down here on a Friday night. They'll all be very, very glad they got here in the end.
Well, of course, John Eustace lost here 5-0, his heaviest defeat as a manager with Blackburn 2 years ago. That he can see his team score 5 here themselves, maybe tonight. Still 19 minutes to play on Talksport 2. Derby County leading by 4-0. A game which has been unexpectedly one-sided, but from very early on, Derby County really took the initiative, although Callum Elder is down here just in front of the technical areas and will require some treatment.
Yeah, is he holding his knee? Hopefully it's just a contact injury rather than anything more sinister. Yeah, he looked in a little bit of pain. They won't want to lose Elder. Obviously they've got Forsyth and players like that can fill in the tonight or moving forwards, but he's a big player for them, Elder. I think he produces quality. We said earlier on that the fullbacks are quite big for Derby, and tonight Ward has got a great assist, Elder has got a great assist, two worldy crosses, weren't they?
Yeah,
from the fullbacks, and that's what you need if you're going to play with those two sort of inside forwards in Brereton Diaz and Brewster. Those fullbacks have to be able to cross the ball, and they've showed tonight that they absolutely can.
But at the moment, it is Derby's biggest win since a 4-0 win at home to Portsmouth in December of 2024. So it predates John Eustace as the manager.
Yep.
But they've tended to be a bit of a 1-0 team this season, Derby County. But
this is not normal.
Sam Morsey will be coming on soon for Bristol City to maybe try and stem the flow.
Yeah, first time they've scored 4 this season, isn't it? They won 3-0 at Hillsborough.
But unfortunately, they can almost have an asterisk by them, those scorelines against Sheffield Wednesday, sadly.
Yeah.
23,500 the crowd here. And that may be tickets sold, because due to the travel issues, I'm not sure there were 23,000 inside the stadium at any stage, and there certainly aren't now.
No. Well, what happened with this away form that we've been waxing lyrical about? Most of those wins have been against bottom of the table teams. Teams
they've won the games they've had to win.
Yeah, but obviously the last one, or recently they beat Preston away. That was an unexpected away win, and this is in the same mould, isn't it? So, it shows the progression of the team, because they haven't had great results against the top sides this season on the road. But tonight, wow, this is 4-0 does not flatter them.
No,
it's
certainly not.
Convincing.
And we still have 16 minutes to play here on Talksport 2. Bristol City 0, Derby County 4. And Derby heading into the top 6. Of course, they could be dislodged tomorrow. Wrexham are playing Sheffield Wednesday, so they will be favourites to win that, even though the game is being played away from home. But this really is a big win on a big night for Derby County. And I'm just going through the stats as we talk, trying to find the last time they won 4-0 away from home, and I'm going back some time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. It's a very unusual scoreline, isn't it?
But it's one they deserve, absolutely deserve. This is not against the run of play. This is not a smash and grab. Here is Armstrong coming forward here for Bristol City. But the low cross in is cut out by Clark, and the movement really from the Bristol City players has been lacking, and now Salverson plays it wide to the far side and nearly finds Brereton Diaz, but not quite.
That pass has been on all second half, and almost every time they've not quite executed the pass properly. He must be a little bit frustrated, Brereton Diaz, on that far side, because he's been in so often.
At the moment, this is Derby's biggest away win since they won 4-0 at Birmingham on the 29th of December 2000.
Oh, blimey, you've gone back a long way.
Jason Knight, playing for Bristol City, scored the 4th goal.
Right, OK.
And of course, there was no one there to see it.
2020. Oh, you said 2000 there. 2020. No. Right, OK. No one to see it.
Bielik, Shinnie, Kazim Richards and Knight.
OK, yeah. It's almost like a season we've forgotten, isn't it, that one?
Yeah. Well, Derby just about stayed up in the end. They held off Sheffield Wednesday on the final day of the season in that dramatic 3-3 draw. Now Knight with a low ball into the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Ward, and we have 13 minutes to play, and we will see more changes very soon for Derby County. Owen Eames will come on to make his league debut, the 19-year-old. Saw him play in the FA Cup recently. And a former Bristol City player, Andy Vyman, will also be coming on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of reception Andy Vyman gets. Saw him play here a few times. Always a wholehearted player. Vyman and Brereton Diaz, they're sort of cut from similar cloth, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like there's a sort of industrious forwards that can play out wide.
They don't live off their goals.
No.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No. Yeah, they're team players, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that fits with John Eustace. He's all about the team.
Well, Brereton Diaz gets a great ovation as he comes off to be replaced by Owen Eames, and Andy Vyman will come on for Bobby Clark, who has been excellent. Really good for Derby County here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, Bobby Clark. Yeah, just in that little number 10 spot, finding pockets, quick feet. So many times he's been able to turn and run at the entire defence. Scored a good goal, of course. Yeah, he's growing, I think. Yeah, he's growing game by game. Looks a real talent.
And at the moment, Bristol City have had no response here at all, and that will be the frustration, I think, for Gerhard Struber. Of course, he may have known that in his heart of hearts they weren't going to win this game at half-time, 3-0 down, but you would say, come on, let's win the second half, let's offer something, and they've offered very little.
Yeah, look, no doubt he tore into them at half-time. He made the double change. I questioned the choices he made, but he was at least decisive.
Now the ball into the penalty area, headed towards goal by McCrory, but it loops up in the air. He will then control it, but he's robbed by Burnell, and he clears downfield, and the ponytail Salverson will chase, but Dickey will guide it back. And the traffic can often be an issue leaving Ashton Gate, but not tonight, because I think most of the people have gone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's pretty empty, isn't it? Even that corner, which is known as the sort of singing section, is
It's silent.
Yeah, it's very, very silent. But look, they're up against the sort of Derby reserves at the minute. Look, they're looking at the forward line. They've all been given a rest. There's a lot of young players out there now. I think that's good management, don't you? From Eustace, he's taken the opportunity to get some experience into these young boys. It's great.
The yellow card has been shown on the far side, just epitomising the frustration that Bristol City are feeling here. And more fans are leaving, and there is a procession out of Ashton Gate at the moment. Really disappointed Bristol City supporters, because of course this was built up as a big night for them as much as it was for Derby County. But from very early on, from the moment Brewster scored the opening goal, they have offered absolutely nothing.
No, it's that XG, it stands at a grand total of 0.18. When you're at home, that's unacceptable. Yeah, and the one shot they held on target was a sort of powder puff effort as well. Second half, Derby have outshot them again. They've had even less of the ball this half, Derby, but they've certainly been the better side. The second half, the XG is 0.05. That's not the rip-roaring effort that Gerhard Struber would have demanded and expected from his players.
Don't forget, tomorrow, 12:30, Leicester Charlton on Talksport 2, followed by Queen's Park Rangers against Coventry. Game Day Live with Adrian Durham from 1 o'clock on Talksport, and then Liverpool against Newcastle at 8 o'clock. Game Day Live with Sam, 1:30 on Sunday. Busy day in the Premier League, the hangover from the Europa League week, and also the Women's Super League as well, with Manchester City playing Chelsea, the top two. City looking to go 12 points clear. And then on Monday here on Talksport 2, Sunderland against Burnley in the Premier League. Tuesday night in the Carabao Cup, Arsenal against Chelsea. Wednesday night, Manchester City against Newcastle. The home teams there, firm favourites after first leg wins.
Yeah, but Emirates on... Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday night, yeah.
Tuesday night. Yeah.
Although after what happened against Manchester United, there'll be the odd seed, no doubt. So
no, definitely, yeah. And Chelsea are in a good run under Liam Rosenior. Arsenal should have finished the tie in that first leg. Had enough chances to win, 4-1. It somehow ended up 3-2, and that makes it a little bit edgy.
Cameron Pring was the Bristol City player booked a few moments ago. We have 8 minutes to play here. Derby leading 4-0. And they're jumping 5 places. But their spell in the top 6 could be brief. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Game Day Live with Adrian Durham is the best place to follow all the action, with Queen's Park Rangers against Coventry here on Talksport 2. Ian Dante will keep you up to date with all the goals in the Championship and elsewhere. And for those Derby fans who travel cross-country and then found themselves crawling through Bristol to get here, it's been a trip which has been well worth it. And when you enjoy a big win away from home on a Friday night, it's always going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, have the weekend off, lads. Yeah, that would be the message I would have thought from...
Because you played at Southend, you were the Friday night team,
we were,
you?
yeah, we had a lot of games Friday night, and yeah, I loved it, especially if we won.
Now Bergzorg for Bristol City, coming in field, strikes a shot low, and it ripples the side netting. It was a good connection, and it just for a moment seemed to have gone beyond O'Donnell at the near post, but he had it covered.
Well, this is the best effort we've seen. 84th minute of the game. It's into the side netting, but he drops a shoulder and he connects with the ball really cleanly. Bergzorg. Goalkeeper was interested, but I think he probably had it covered. And yeah, that's as good as it's got for Bristol City. And what amazes me about that sort of corner...
the singing corner, the ultra corner, yeah.
Section 82, is that what they call it? They're still waving the flags. There's about 6 or 7 flags. They've been waved practically the whole game.
Well, they've made the effort to get here.
Yeah, I know, but I'd have massive arm ache, wouldn't you, by now?
Well, maybe they're in training. Maybe this is part of the training. Yeah, you learn a lot about your flag wavers when you're 4-0 down on a Friday night.
You do, and they're probably Bristol City's best performers tonight.
84 minutes on the clock. 4-0 to Derby County. And it's been a bit of a procession since half-time. One real moment of quality, the goal from Patrick Adjamang. But the goals have been shared around the 4 forward players, and that will please John Eustace, as Armstrong has been hauled down by Sanderson.
Yeah, and if Derby are to retain a position in and around the playoffs, they will need all of the front 4 to regularly chip in. You can't just have Adjamang as the kind of go-to guy. So that has to be the message. I'm sure it will be.
And we'll see what business they may be able to do. And Sammy Smodics is a big rumour. Of course, he's been a regular goal scorer in the Championship. As Bristol City try and come forward again here. Pring into the penalty area. Good run, but he runs into Clark and then goes down. Nothing given. Jason Knight tries to win it back, but Ozo will now come forward up to the halfway line. He's been pulled down, though. And it will be a free kick for Derby County. And it's just been an evening of total frustration for Bristol City. Nothing they has tried has come off, and it was Sam Morsey who conceded the free kick there.
Yeah, Morsey I think could be a good signing for them. I liked him at Ipswich.
He was a free agent. He was playing in Q8, having moved away from Ipswich, and he was a pickup for Bristol City. And he's a player who, of course, has got promotion from this division relatively recently, but it maybe shows where Bristol City are shopping if they're in the free agency market.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be on decent wages, I reckon. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But he's a good person to have in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And hazard a guess he might play next week.
Salverson now with a good ball forward towards Fowler. He plays it across, and Eames with the shot. And it's deflected onto the crossbar. An incredible goal line clearance to deny Owen Eames a first career goal.
I can't believe it. Eames, it's an open goal really, but it's a miraculous sort of block, isn't it? They work it amazingly. Salverson squares it to Eames. The goal's at his mercy. He just passes it into the net, and somehow they've got something on it, and they've deflected it onto the crossbar.
I think it was Morsey who got back and deflected it up onto the underside of the bar.
Underside of the bar. It was pretty dramatic, wasn't it? But for all the world, that looked like 5-0. I'm not quite sure how they got away with that, Bristol City, but I feel sorry for Owen Eames.
But he's coming forward again here. He's got the taste for it now. It's a driving run right down the centre, and he hits another shot which is deflected, tries to win it back. McCrory goes down, but no free kick. Here is Elder now with a crossing opportunity. It's deep to the far post. It's taken down well, fired in towards goal by Fowler, and it's a good save by Vitek. And Derby have so many players forward here again now. A low ball in, and it's 5-0. Lars Jørgen Salverson this time. And Derby County's perfect night has yet another goal. They're heading into the playoffs, and they're doing it in incredible style. Bristol City defensively undressed once again. Salverson with the tap in. And Derby County sending out a real message to everybody else in the playoff chase. 5-0.
Pure destruction from Derby County tonight. They have destroyed the Robins. They are rubbing their noses in it now. 5-0. I'm loving the hunger. Absolutely loving the thirst, the desire to go and punish Bristol City. It's a real special night for the Rams supporters. It's one that they won't forget in a hurry.
No, tonight was there. Certainly 5-0 away from home. That doesn't happen too often at any level, and certainly not against one of your main rivals.
Yeah, it's one of the results of the season in any division. Bristol City are no mugs. They're the top end of the Championship, and they've been annihilated. And this has been just a perfect away day.
Sanderson, determined to preserve the clean sheet, steps in on this near side. And I have not seen a Championship stadium as empty as this during a game for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they were leaving at 3-0, loads of them left at 4-0, and now you contrast it with the Derby end where, of course, nobody is left.
It's remarkable. Yeah, there's almost more Derby fans in now than home supporters. It's incredible scenes.
But when we were heading through various villages and hamlets in the West Country early today to try and get here on time, nobody thought this would be the outcome. 5 minutes of added time as well. Bristol City will love that.
Yeah, look, Bristol City just want this done. They want it over with. I think, Derby fans saying we want 6, and you wouldn't put it past them because they've just gone. They're completely in pieces, Bristol City, and that is a concern for Gerhard Struber moving forwards, because if they can sort of capitulate this easily, then what's going to happen when they go behind, or the next time they go behind? Is the confidence going to drain away like it has done tonight? So, worrying night this for the hosts.
5-0 to Derby County. And this is a result that does not flatter them in many ways. They could have had more. And that will be the worrying thing, I think, for Bristol City.
Yeah. And look, Eames has just had that sort of open goal knocked onto the crossbar. Yeah, could have been 6. A lot of alarm bells ringing for Bristol City. But obviously, before kick-off, with the news that Viner might be joining Mehmeti and on sort of the departures, and then on the pitch, we've seen sort of even worse alarm bells and bad signals. But look, if you're a player interested in joining Derby, you're suddenly a bit more interested, aren't you?
But you might not get in the team.
Yeah. No, but if I was being linked with Derby and I was thinking, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'd look at this performance tonight and think, I want a piece of that.
Well, it has been a quite extraordinary night, and we always expect the unexpected in the Championship, but nobody expected this. To be 5-0 up away from home. I mean, we said that Derby were a good team away from home, but you would have thought Bristol City would have offered a lot more, but they do have a free kick here. Sam Morsey, the player who was fouled in the closing seconds, but there are so few Bristol City fans here left in the stadium to watch this.
Yeah. Last chance here, maybe, to salvage something. I think all pride has gone, really, but a little free kick. Morsey earned it with a driving run. Can they pick out a good delivery here, I wonder?
Well, teams often have either incredible results or incredibly bad results that can be turning points, not just in a season, but maybe in a period of a club's history. And Bristol City have got to ensure that this isn't one of those, as Morsey plays the free kick in and it's headed away by Ward.
Yeah, and Derby, we hope this isn't a false dawn, that this is a sign that they really are a top Championship team. With Carlton Morris coming back from injury as well, they're looking in much better shape, aren't they?
Salverson now plays it square towards Fowler. He's got Bonnell ahead of him on the edge of the penalty area, but it's played further wide, and there could be more options here as the shot is fired over the top in the end by Vyman.
Yeah, sort of party time, isn't it? Another good breakaway. Vyman just chances his arm, cuts inside, but he's blazed that one over the bar. But it's one of those nights where you can blaze one over the bar and still get a standing ovation from the away fans. I don't think any of them are sitting down, are they? Way to our left, they are loving it.
And we still have a minute of added time to play. And Bristol City just want to drag themselves off the field here. and get themselves back into the dressing room, and the inquest can start. I'm fairly certain they won't have the weekend off. Now Bergzorg. Wide on the far side, back towards Pring. And now Bergzorg again. Some night to make your debut. In towards Rees, and then Fowler will clear up to the halfway line. A look at the watch from Tom Neild. And now Morsey, wide to the far side again, and Borges, and Bristol City playing keep ball. Maybe just to try and stem the flow of goals. McCrory. And now Knight. And here is Tanner. He delivers a cross in, and it will rebound off Elder behind. And it will be a corner kick, but that's it. What an extraordinary night at Ashton Gate. Derby County moving above Bristol City into the playoff places for the first time this season. But that doesn't tell the story. It doesn't even begin to tell the story, because they've done it by winning 5-0.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. You have to say, what a night for those Derby County players and fans. John Eustace congratulating each and every one of his players down in the dugout, and I'm sure he'll be on the pitch in a few moments' time to congratulate them even more. Absolutely fantastic night. As good as it was for Derby County, it was absolutely dreadful for Bristol City, and they will go back to the drawing board. Derby into the top 6, as we mentioned. They host Ipswich next week at home. They'll be hoping to back up tonight. Bristol City have a difficult away days. They go to Hull City next weekend. No doubt, though, Gerhard Struber will be looking for a response from his side. Adrian Clark, is tonight the night? Is it the moment that it all began to click for a more attacking, more fluid Derby County?
Well, it feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, it's easy to say yes when you've just watched the team score 5 goals away from home, and you can legitimately say, well, they could have had lots more. You know, if this had been 8-0, it probably would have been a fairer reflection of what we saw. You know, 17 shots to 7, but it's 7 shots on target to Bristol City's 1. It's just more than that. It's just they played like a really united team. The collective was great from beginning to end, from front to back. And Bristol City was the opposite. They looked like a team of individuals who really sort of sulked their way through the match. There was not a lot of fight about the Robins at all. And that is worrying moving forwards.
They're currently only 2 points off Derby County, who occupy 6th place. Bristol City in 9th on 43 points. Derby on 45. Both of them have played 30 games. It will be a big blow for Bristol City tonight. The players that have left the club during January, it almost feels like they need to have a positive end to the transfer window, where by the time we get to next weekend, there's a little bit of optimism around the club. Because if they don't, if Zach Viner leaves, if they don't get an able replacement in that space of time, then I think fans will begin to believe that their chances of a top 6 finish are going to slide away.
Yeah, they just get fed up, and they won't come, will they? That's the problem. And then the owner will be thinking, well, you know, money's down. Yeah. So it's a really, really important few days. And this could go 2 ways. It could be that the owner will look at it and say, we're not going up. Let's keep the powder dry. We'll save some money for the summer. Or he'll think, right, we need more, and he'll dip his hand into his pocket. The decision he makes could have a big bearing on the morale around Bristol. Because the supporters, I think, if they don't really bring anyone else in, they'll feel the club's drifting again, and that's quite demoralising, I'd imagine.
My moment to apologise for Derby County for outlining so many of their negative attacking statistics before the game, which they continue to outperform, let's be honest. 6th in the table, a +7 goal difference, which is better than the teams around them for now. Hull City on +7, Millwall +1, Wrexham +6, as are Watford and Bristol City on +4. So it's not like teams in that area of the table have actually been ripping it up in those attacking in those attacking statistics. So, you know, Derby County, I think, are of the same ilk of the teams around them. And if they can continue to keep clean sheets like they have tonight, they'll give themselves a real opportunity. It doesn't matter how pretty it is on the eye, although it was very pretty tonight. Adrian Clark, Nigel Adderley, thank you very much for being with us this evening. Safe journey back to all of you leaving the ground at Ashton Gate tonight.